when you think about it, when we honor our elders and our ancestors, we all have indigenous lineages from the land of our ancestors. And so we all can honor our indigeneity. And I want to connect with the community, and I want to share what does it mean to attempt to protect a vital resource of the Bay Area, the only federally recognized Indian country between Sonoma and Santa Barbara along central coastal California. And with this resource, we have made it available to the community. We have made it available for Native peoples who are in need of land for ceremony, and we want to continue doing that. Indian Canyon has a unique history because it has always been tended and stewarded by the indigenous peoples of the land, my family. In 1911, President Taft allotted a trust allotment to my great-great-grandfather, Sebastian Garcia, and that came to my grandmother, and she took care of that land, and my mother and my uncle were raised on this land. My mother's umbilical cord is buried on this land. My umbilical cord is buried in Indian Canyon. Now, a series of interesting transactions have transpired from Sebastian Garcia having this trust allotted Indian country to my grandmother. I believe she took it out of trust, which then led it to be a deed. And the troublesome part about that deed is maintaining the land and only so many limited resources. My mother had agreements with neighbors and community members, of which was really great. However, my mother is an elder, and those community members have passed. And the deeds have shifted hands, and now the new community members, they just believe that they're landowners and they believe they have full control. They don't have the same value as our community, and that is why the land is threatened. The land is threatened from people who don't understand that indigenous peoples have a sacred obligation to tend and steward these homelands. And it's not just a resource for the native peoples of the land, it is a resource for the community. Having land to be able to gather and ground and have ceremony. Because my mother and my grandmother taught me that when song, ceremony, and dancing stops, so does the earth. We don't own land. We have a responsibility to land. We don't have this paper that says this is mine. We have this obligation. My genetics, my DNA, my mind, my spirit, my body are grounded on the land of my ancestors. And it is my responsibility to be a good ancestor in training and do my best to protect this vital resource for our community. And so I need help. I'm looking to community members who may understand the law. I'm looking to community members who know about ecological restoration. There might be botanical relatives who deserve protection. There could be biological relatives from plants and animals and creepy crawlies who deserve the right to be in a space that is conserved and respected and stewarded by the indigenous peoples who have that obligation to recognize the rights of nature and to support UNDRIP, United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, or even historical cultural resource management when it comes to ancestors who are there in that little valley in the mouth of the canyon. Ancestors are there. My mother remembers when the bulldozers were literally ripping up my ancestors' village site. Mortars and pestles coming up beneath the surface, even ancestors being disturbed. We, as the native peoples of the land, have the right to continue stewarding our homelands. We need help, and we come to you for help. Share this message, reach out, ask questions, look up our websites, because we have different asks, and community members who are either able just to reshare, or community members with amazing resources or connections to community with resources, from lawyers to fundraising opportunities to ecological restoration communities to so many opportunities. We want to connect with community to help support community.